Yeah, so it is what it is. What you looking up now?
Man, I don't know what the hell I'm looking up. I call myself looking up something.
Oh, well, shit. Oh, well, I guess we can get started then. Yo, what's the good word? It's your man Beretta. I'd like to welcome you to this latest episode of The Mind of Beretta. As always, you know how to get in touch with me. You can get at me through Instagram and through Twitter at Beretta Beats. Y'all have heard me long enough. I don't have to spell it out. I'm quite sure that y'all have figured it out by now. In any event, I got my man Kreid from the Elder Youth. We just sitting here chilling today. Got a whole bunch of shit on my mind today. And look, I'll just start it off like this. Man, y'all young niggas, y'all need to get a grip, okay?
Whoa. Left field here.
Yeah, way out left
I thought
field.
we were talking origami.
Origami my ass. No, y'all need to get a grip, okay? Because ever since 444 done come out, y'all young niggas act like y'all got a real problem with us old folk, okay? Now, remind you, we're not old. We're men of a certain age.
Man.
But I have to just come out and tell y'all, first off, y'all need to sit down. And then y'all need to take some notes. Kreid, tell me something. Have you ever heard of this nonsense that these young cats are talking that Jay-Z, just because he's 40-something, don't have bars? Help me to explain that one.
I mean, especially when most of these cats got a lot, even the cats they admire got a lot of inspiration from that dude. So that's the stuff I don't understand. Here's the thing, it's just kind of stupid. I mean, you could say we were all young once, and we always kind of, considered the things we do to be so far ahead of what came before us. I understand that, but not to the point where we just completely tried to create we didn't try to uphold a gap or a rift between older generations. You know what I'm saying? If anything, we still paid a certain level of homage and appreciation to older generations. I mean, it seemed like I don't know. What do you think?
Well, listen, first off, you started off by saying paying homage to generations before us that actually paved the way, for, these young cats out here like the Migos and,
right.
Basically whoever all them cats are that was on this latest freshman cover of Double XL magazine, right? See, hell, they even paved the way for us, okay? Yeah. Us as being producers, okay?
Yeah, all day.
And the one thing that kills me is that we go back to when we were first coming up, okay? Right. We looked at those cats like, look, they're at where we want to be.
Right.
Okay. So, maybe if we could, reach out to them cats somehow, some way. I mean, of course, there was no social media. There was no Instagram, no Twitter back then. You literally had to get up in their faces at whatever city they happen to be in. If they happen to be in your city and they were performing a show or something, right. You either, get at them at the show, maybe, catch them at the mall or something earlier in the day, But the whole point of it is that we would actually try to gain wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gain wisdom, try to, gain some kind of pointers, just wanting to pick their brains, just to see how they made it, so we could possibly be on that, next wave so we can make it.
Right.
These young kids nowadays, they act like they just put a couple of marbles in their mouth go borrow, $150 in $1 bills and stick it up to their ear, post it on Instagram, and they think they lit.
The standards have lowered.
Yeah.
There's no artistic standard. But at the same time, not to their credit, but in their defense, at the same time, the same could be said. The same was said of hip hop by older generations, that there was an artistic compromise. There's a compromise in creative integrity.
Okay. Trust me, that discussion is, well worn. That, we were the same way back then to a certain extent, but I guess what I see is a small level of disrespect.
Ain't no small level. It's a big level. It's a humongous. It's a tsunami of disrespect. And I think a big question I ask at this point is, at what point? Because we need to understand, at what point in the last 10 years that the rift started widening like it is? Because it seemed like if we go several phases back, the Lil Wayne phase was a great phase to me. People was dissing it. Our age was dissing it. But it was great because this dude still paid homage to the cats that laid the groundwork for him to be, and he still interacted with the likes of those type, older cats.
Oh, boy, absolutely.
So I'm not saying he needed that to legitimize him, but in a sense, yeah, you do. Because that's part of, this music, this is looked upon as a community, whether these cats recognize it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in a community, you still should seek guidance and or approval from the ones that set it off before you. Because for real, they, I would think cats like some of these young dudes, I'm not naming any particular names, but some of the cats out now, what are they going to do or how are they going to react when in 10 years, if they even survive 10 years, when those kids, the kids that are out then, are shitting on their name?
Oh, well,
their legacy.
I can pretty much guarantee you they're going to be doing the same thing that we're doing now. But and I'm just thinking about this. Let me throw out a hypothetical to you. Just say, for example, what if these young artists are being influenced by label executives, A&Rs that are not in any outward way, but subtly telling these cats, hey, look, you doing your own thing now. You doing a different thing. This is a different day. This is a different generation. This is a different era.
I can see that.
To where they actually kind of encourage these younger artists to basically shun the old school, tell them they old, shovel the dirt on them.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Nah, that's ill right there. Because think about this: you lose the network, you lose protection. Now, on the industry side, talk about industry execs, to cut them off from other guidance is to also keep money in the fold, because they looking at it on two levels. Mm-hmm. Financially and socially, because there's if the positivity shown from networking and receiving guidance and inspiration from other folk, their people that preceded them, You see what I'm saying? That thwarts the plans, and then it's nothing conspiratorial. It's obvious. Somebody in the upper echelon of these motherfuckers that's running these labels is putting the likes of these people out. Somewhere along the line, somebody is helping to sustain the riff that's been obvious.
Oh, okay.
And somebody keeps passing out these fucking little titles. I fucking hate little. How long do you want to be little? Like, how can you be a big man when you little?
Man, you know what? You know what? To a certain extent, I mean, I think that also goes, back to what we've talked about. The whole emaciation and the emasculation of, I mean, maybe not emaciation, but yeah, definitely the whole emasculation, of our culture, the black man, especially in music. Yeah, you keep calling this dude Lil this, you keep calling them Lil that. Pretty soon, they got it in their mind. Yeah, we little dudes. We look no. I'm just thinking it out, just throwing it out there. Look, that might be some damn kind of conspiracy theory. Just saying, because I don't put anything past anybody anymore.
Well, Jackson 5 had a song that I used to love when I was younger.
Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
No, Jackson 5.
I know, but since we're going down memory lane, I mean, I felt it was appropriate.
The Young Folks, great song. And basically the statement like, man, here we come. We got this own style, and we bringing in this new era of expression. Don't tell us what to do. Just let us do our thing. That's the message I got from it, which is really a lingering message. You got to think that was in the 70s, so I'm not saying that, that's the younger generations always come with that attitude, but you ain't supposed to stay with that attitude.
Well, no, it's not even so much staying with that attitude. Listen, the way that you described it, I'm good with that attitude. That's the attitude that we had.
Right.
But the difference is that we also had the good damn sense to listen to older folks that have been through it to know what to do and, most importantly, what not to do.
I'll tell you this. How were your parents when they had you?
Yeah, this is one of those unbelievable stories. Yeah. So my dad was 56 years old and my mother was 46 when they had me. Okay. Yeah. Call that whatever you want. Call that a change of life. Call that an accident. I lean more towards the accident side, but I digress.
All right. My parents, my mother was 32. My dad was 39. Granted, younger than yours, but still on the older side. Like, that's a lot of times, that's the point where procreation-wise, people usually tend to wrap up. Like, I'm good after you hit 30s.
Yeah.
However, most, in my observation over the years, most kids with older parents have a little bit more mature sense up front,
Okay, I'll ride with that.
And they're the ones that's like, my dad used to call me 8 going on 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I mean, I can tell you hung around an older set. So did I, because I mean, if you looked at, and I know that we're kind of going off on a little tangent, away from the music, but
it's all relevant.
Yes, this is definitely relevant. See, in my case, there's this big ass age gap. Okay, I got older cousins that are 15, 20 years, 30 years older than me. Yeah. And then I have younger cousins that are 10, 12 years younger than me, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like in that, in between where, I can count maybe 4 or 5 of my cousins that are in my age bracket. So I tended to hang with the older ones, you
Yeah.
know, not by choice, but almost by necessity.
Yeah.
Okay. And the one thing that I've always kept in the back of my mind is that these older folks, when they tell you, listen to what I'm saying so you don't make the same mistakes I made. Yeah, now, of course, I made some of them same fucking mistakes, but I listened to them on a lot of things, and I get what they're saying now that I'm where I'm at now.
Right. So imagine a good deal of these kids not having an older support group, an actual support group. One thing that has to be discussed when we talk about the rift, the generation gap, is an apparent or seemingly apparent increase in certain activities that disrupted positive interaction between older generations and younger generations. Namely, it just seemed like I'll put it out there, pedophilia, you know, the drug game,
Mm-hmm.
and another thing is knucklehead ass kids having kids when they're young, not knowing how to raise kids,
Right.
and then a lot of times, you know, those kids become checks. They're not really looked on. They're not. Some of them are not nurtured properly, so they're not raised with a certain respect level. Their talent comes through, but they're only mined for their talents, but they're not given.
But the whole thing, and I totally get you on that. And of course, this is just coming to me now. Hey, listen, on the Mind of Beretta, sometimes we know what the hell we talking about. Sometimes we don't. But in this instance, I think I know what the hell I'm talking about when I say this.
Yeah.
These young kids nowadays, more often than not,
Yeah.
were born to young parents
Yeah.
with no stability. You know where I'm getting at with this.
All right.
Okay. Excuse me. Those young parents that have these young kids nowadays were also themselves birthed by young parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're basically in the second to third generation in all of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of these young mothers didn't know how to raise their children because they were children that weren't raised properly or weren't raised in a stable household.
Well, let's define properly.
Okay, well, maybe properly was a presumptive term. But I guess the point that I'm
Not
making
really.
is,
It's not presumptive. I'm just saying let's define it just for the sake of defining it.
okay, so at least in my eyes, we'll go with a practical definition. Okay, being raised, by a mother and a father, especially in the case of young male children. Okay, because let's keep it a buck. Young male children need their fathers in their lives. Needed their fathers in their lives. Okay. As far as, economic or socioeconomic status or whatnot, hey, listen, this is,
I agree.
Yeah, this is 2017. We can go back even to mid 2000s. Okay. Socioeconomics, has basically been engineered against, people of color for at least the last 50, 60 years. if not longer. I mean, we could go back, but that's for a whole nother podcast, whole nother, subject. I guess the point that I'm getting at is that when I say a stable household, I mean, again, a mother, a father, they're raising these children to not be, to, in one sense, have independence, to, have independent mind, independent thought process, to be able to, learn and grow and make their own decisions, but also at the same time, to let them know of the pitfalls that they done been through.
Yeah.
So they don't have to experience those same pitfalls. Okay. Not seeing it so much with these young cats. Okay. Case in point. And this is something that's been beat up all over social media, excuse me, ever since the BET Awards. But right. I'm here to tell you right now, y'all little niggas need to get off Joe Budden back, because this and
whoa, that's been happening.
Boy, listen, they been tearing Joe Budden a new asshole out here. Yeah, but just as well as I know,
sensitive.
Boy, sensitive as loom. But and I digress. The whole point of it is that if you look back at Joe Budden history, okay, and this, the reason I'm talking about this is because I listened to another podcast, right? Good young brother, my dude E, man. Good podcast, not for our generation, for the younger generation, because they talk a bunch of ratchet shit, but it's still hilarious. It's still some good listening. Okay. Maybe I'll get him on once, but I digress. One of his brothers on there was talking about, how Joe Budden was nothing more than a hating ass old nigga, right?
Wow.
Do the research on Joe Budden. This is the one dude that has been fighting more than anybody else, out publicly,
right,
against the industry. Okay?
Right.
This man hates labels. He hates, he hates label contracts. He literally hates everything that the industry stands for.
Right.
And if you want to go back, on that Complex show, Everyday Struggle, when he was, going in on Lil Yachty, right?
Right.
Listen, all these young cats out here looked at that and read that as, old grumpy man Joe Budden going in on, some poor defenseless little young rapper that just wants to be happy, right?
Right.
This dude didn't even know if he had a 360 deal or not. And now hold on a minute. I got to take a time out. Let's start with a 360 deal. Okay. Now, this is, music industry 101. Okay. Right. 360 deals did not exist 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago.
No, 360 deal, I think, really became a trend shortly after Soulja Boy's success.
Okay, so that puts us back, what, 2005, 2006, somewhere in that era?
Is that long ago?
Yeah, because I mean...
He was Superman in that hole back then?
Yeah.
12 years ago?
Yeah, basically, because, I mean, I know Mels was still in high school when that came out.
Dig that.
Okay, and
Superman in that hoe.
Yeah. I can't even lie, man. At some point, somewhere along the line.
Of course it was catchy.
Yeah, it was, man. And I found myself singing that from time to time. But the whole point of this is that the 360 deal, in essence, is a product of technology.
Right.
Okay. Now you have streaming services, okay, which basically did away with having a physical album in your hand, a physical album that took up physical space inside of a physical record store. Hey, notice, how many record stores are out there still existing?
I don't know. It's all by the skin of their teeth.
Listen, I know of one, nationwide chain, FYE, and when you say they're holding on for dear life, oh my God. I mean, dude, that shit looked like a Spencer's Gifts last time I walked in there, man.
Pretty much.
But again, I digress. Yeah, I digress a lot. I get it. So the whole 360 deal now is one of those instruments where, the record companies have got to recoup their investments, in a particular artist somehow. So not only are they getting you, with the actual record sales, through places like Apple Music or Amazon Prime or however that works.
Right.
Okay. But now with the advent of streaming services, and that's a whole nother discussion that I want to get into in a little bit, because I want to get your thought and idea on the whole, what constitutes an album sale in 2017. But yeah, but
we got to go beyond opinion. I need to know that myself.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But I guess for the purposes of right now, with the 360 deal, not only do they get, the album sales through, Apple Music and things like that, like I said before, then, they also get a piece of your tour sales. If you got any merchandise, if you have any other endorsements, if you do commercials, if you do movies, yeah, the 360 deal means the record company gets a piece of everything. Okay. Take it back to Lil Yachty versus Joe Buttons. Yeah. Okay. So Lil Yachty didn't even know if he had a 360 deal or not. But, the way he said it was, I have, my business affairs in order. But that brings up a very good question. Okay. Yeah, you may have your business affairs in order. You may not want to get into it, on a, talk show platform. But if a person asks you a simple, direct question, do you have a 360 deal? Okay. If you don't have a 360 deal, or if you do have a 360 deal, but you didn't want your business out there, all you had to do was just simply say, that's not for me to, speak out in this public forum. Okay. That would have nixed the whole deal. I think that would have stopped all that, all the drama that didn't come from that point up until now. Okay.
Right.
But I just look at it as, if you don't know what kind of deal you have, if you don't even know what a 360 deal is, and you have somebody that's actually trying to school you a little bit on how the game works, literally, like Jay-Z, I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. That's all Joe was trying to do. But yet now he comes off as this, hating grumpy ass nigga that, don't want anybody to be happy. I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. Yeah, I know. It kind of perplexes you, because it perplexed the shit out of me. So
there are a range of factors. Because, at the core of this whole discussion right now is a fact. A fact is there will be no progression. Old is not past. Dead is past.
This is true.
That's the first logic people got to understand.
Okay.
Problem is, old is equated with decrepit.
Yeah.
which is stupid.
Yes.
Because how do you account for structures that have outlasted hundreds of thousands of generations of people, or at least thousands of generations of people? You know, whatever, whether it's the pyramid or the Taj Mahal, or even various, plant life,
right,
that has outlasted. So that has to be, that, and then the stupid part about a lot of younger views is how well thought out their statements are. But what's even worse is these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. I think that's another thing why there's as far as the consensus on the creativity of a lot of younger folks today is that it's like shot to shit. But the reason for that, I don't completely agree with that, and I don't want to just keep citing, Wale or J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar as examples.
Well, no, but the whole point of it is that you have to,
or Chance or Tyler. You actually don't, because there is. If we did I guess maybe I'm not using this word correctly. If we did a qualitative analysis, like it's not, they're not like those. A lot of artists that we're trying to avoid mentioning, they're not completely lacking in artistic genius or at least artistic expression. Like, there's creativity there. Like,
oh no,
like
absolutely,
there's music that you could rock to. The hooks are simple. The formula has been oversimplified, I'll say, but I'm not completely mad at that.
No, I'm not completely mad at that either. And see, listen, I'm the first person to tell you. Yeah. Okay, you jump in my car, and when the radio come on, if you hear Bad and Bougie, you probably hearing it at a level that, will probably bust some eardrums. I can't get enough of that tired, dumbass song.
So I don't want to call it dumb. Like,
no. When I say dumb, okay, again, we're of a certain generation when it comes to hip hop. Okay, and then of course you have that set of people that don't even call that hip hop, but hey, listen, more power to you on that. But we're from that generation that if someone got on the mic and they spit bars, they spit in that fire, and that fire actually means something. Okay, it actually
means something in what term? What do you mean?
Okay, people like Rakim, people like KRS-One. I mean, okay, let's bring it forward a little bit. You got Yasin Bey, Mos Def, hey, whatever you want to call yourself, bro. Talib Kweli.
But I mean,
we
minus
can,
Kweli.
Well,
I mean, minus Kweli.
Yeah,
Mos Def had Miss Fat Booty. I wasn't really saying shit.
No, it wasn't. But 90% of what he was saying, I'm
not trying to see the thing. I agree with you. It's just at the end of the day, I'm not trying to learn in every rap, every rhyme I rock to.
No, neither am I.
But at the same time, I'm just wanting variety. I don't want all East Coast shit either. Like, see what I'm saying? Because there's a beauty in these other forms.
Oh, absolutely.
But problem is, for all the independence that young folks want, they still following a formula, which means you're not completely independent. You just want to appear that way.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
that's
you
that
still
goes,
follow a formula that honestly, there's a formula for song making that you are not going to be able to shake. There's a rap, there's a hook, there's a rap, there's a hook, maybe a break somewhere here, another hook, another verse. those structures never leave.
Right.
Funny thing about independence is really a farce.
Well, I mean,
independence ain't nothing but a longer leash.
Of course, in a lot of respects, it is a farce. Okay,
yeah.
but
I'm not saying that you're not like you'll have a state of okay. There's a condition of independence simply meaning that you got more on your plate that you got to handle to get you straight, but you're really never untethered.
And that's an
you know what I'm saying?
Is that more of an industry thing?
I mean that was a general life statement, but in the artist community, man, in the artist community, even shit like death metal and grunge and not grunge, but like that that's I call death metal like the rock version of mumble rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do the same like bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
And they did it at 220 beats a minute as well.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, try and do that.
So my thing is, and that I'll take mumble rap or whatever they call mumble rap. I will take it over that bullshit any day. Like, but my point being is, I went straight for my point. My point is, they're gonna be tethered. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still tethered to the progression, wherever the many different progressions of the sound that is called rock. So I'm saying there's still a sound bed that's relative to something that so I'm saying that they borrowed from and said whether they used it as grounds to try to flip the script, or whether whether they trying to keep the basic formula, it's still relative to what came before it.
Right.
It's still relative to what came before it.
No, I got you. I guess when it really boils down to it, in my mind, at least in this aspect of it, is that but then again, back in the day, they probably said, we can only take so much, conscious rap, or we can, only take so much, of, woke rap, what they used to call it, neo soul, what in the hell do they call it, man? Back then when you start hearing, Quali come out, and I guess the age of woke rap. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just boiled down to conscious.
Yeah,
they took pro black out of it, made it conscious.
Yeah,
which I kind of hated that shit.
Which was it was stupid to me because I mean, being conscious also means that you are aware of your blackness. But I mean,
no. You took pro black or conscious. The difference is you're not taking a stance on anything. You're just saying a bunch of wise words, but you're scared to take a single stance. Like, I represent this. Now everybody, in the name of being universal, they're academically omnivorous or morally omnivorous. Like, they're eating up everything. I believe in this, but I believe in this. And I even catch myself doing that, which is cool. But I still have a base. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people scared to be stuck to something because I don't want labels. You're going to be labeled because you're still labeled a fucking tumbleweed at the end of the day if all you're doing is gathering knowledge like the dust that you're rolling over. You know what I'm saying? You're adapting to the times, but you're still not fucking rooted. You're a goddamn tumbleweed. So I'm saying?
Right.
So at the same time, I mean, like, you'll get respected, but at the same time, you get respected by other free-spirited, whatever kind of floating mind fucks that you want to call them type of people. I don't respect it altogether. Right. I understand it to a degree, Because in a world where every movement seems to betray you, you know, you put your faith in a movement, and then members of that movement misrepresent it, and you got a sour, you know, you got a fucked up, blurry viewpoint of some shit because, or sour taste in your mouth because this shit sound, you know what I'm saying, damn, you know, I believed in this institution and the moral code it upheld until I saw this fuckery. Now I don't want to represent it and I don't want to be connected to it. And all these shits are relative to the attitude of the youth because the youth are seeing this age of adults with no fucking ground. Like they don't hold a ground.
No, they don't. And what actually kills me is, you know, when we're talking about, at least in the realm of, you know, the music today, whatever, if you want to call it hip hop, most folks like me don't want to call it hip hop because, you know, it isn't what was, you know, it doesn't represent what we come to believe hip hop being, right? But at the same time, there's only so much Molly and Percocet that you can listen to. It's only so much, you know, sipping on lean, putting money to your ear while you got a girl sucking on your ding dong. Okay, that's only so much that you can.
That's fucking
hear.
beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man, stop it, man. Because I mean, when it all boils down to it, okay, you know, the dominant culture in this country is gonna look at it. You know, has always looked at the music that we do and try to transpose that. No, it's in the other refrigerator. No, what they try to do is they try to transpose that view of the, you know, of the music that, you know, our generation makes, and they want to transpose that onto, you know, our culture, you know, as a whole. So basically,
but they've done. They always. Oh, sorry, open. They always do this shit.
Well, yeah, I know they always do that shit, but the whole thing of it is, you got to reach all the way back into the back corner. Yeah, but I guess where it is that, you know, they try at first. You know, we had, you know, back in the, you know, 80s into the 90s, you know, we had, you know, pro-black, we had our, you know, level of consciousness elevated. Okay, now they're looking at us as if we're nothing more than a bunch of, you know, drug addicts, weed heads, you know, and, you know, oversexed savages.
They like that. See, here's the thing. I mean,
they do like it.
In the near future, we got to. Here's the thing. We got to come to more clarity. We, not just you. We got to come to more clarity on who they is. Not now, but sometime. Cause I don't, you know, they is broad. But my point being is, but here's the thing. I don't see these moments become repetitive when details don't come out. Like, and some details are hard to find because if we're discussing a certain demographic that is trying to do what you were just saying, put us in this box.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to come to specifics because that demographic chooses to remain indistinguishable and vague and really virtually unknown, but yet their presence is obvious, but it's hard to pinpoint. But you can only pinpoint it corporately.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a corporate thing. I mean, I again, when it all boils down, I just, you know, look at it as, I mean, seriously, we have to do better, man. You know, and it starts with, you know, this younger generation actually giving a fuck about, number one, what they're doing, how they're living, you know. And I'm just speaking I could speak general, but just as far as the music, they need to give a fuck about the type of music that they're putting out, because they got a whole fan base that now all of a sudden, you know, likes to pop pills, likes to drink promethazine. And let's be real about what promethazine is. Promethazine is codeine.
See, this is where we sound old, all right?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're goddamn right. I'm a sound old when it comes to that, though.
Dig this. I have another personal viewpoint.
I'm with
where we at right now. Whoever these motherfuckers are that we discussing,
all right, peace, bro.
That are not morally sound. They're not artistically. They seem to be, you know, they're at a loss artistically, which I don't think so altogether.
Right.
But my point being is their reflection of the trademarks of the generation. Drugs. Drugs never leave. Everybody had drugs.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I'm saying,
I get that.
But the truth is, man, what elements still kind of made us look like a community? I mean, even though there were small trace elements that still made black people have a consensus viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? Those are gone. And I think that's why there's an issue with this phase of music, because it ironically has a community, but it's a very counterproductive community. It makes money.
It's a dysfunctional community.
Yeah, and as a result, counterproductive. But it makes money. It generates revenue. The revenue is streamed toward more of a wayward lifestyle.
Okay, now I need to stop you there for a quick
But
second.
who am I to speak?
No. Hold that thought real quickly, because I want to go back to something, and I even spoke about this, you know, on the last episode. Okay, you know, this is something from, you know, this is something from one of my people, right? And this was a text message that he sent me about, you know, just the whole idea of, you know, how we deal with race and how we deal with each other, right? And I mean, I want to read part of it. Okay, just as soon as I get to it. Okay, here we go. Because I will tell you, just like I have told everybody else, okay, when I look at things, you know, I mean, yeah, it's something. Life in general has to be looked at through, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, it has to be looked at through, you know, all colors of the spectrum. Okay, right. It may not be, everything in this world is not necessarily a black and white issue, because there's a whole bunch of gray that's in the middle of it.
Right.
But I can't speak upon a white person's daily existence, because I don't know their daily existence. I don't feel their daily existence. Okay? Just like I can't speak on a Native Indian's experience or life, because again, I can't feel their experience. I don't know their experience like that. I can only speak from a black man's point of view, a soon-to-be 44-year-old black man's point of view. Okay, so when I speak on things, it's coming through my eyes, and if it looks like some bullshit through my eyes, then I'm gonna call it bullshit. Which leads me to this. Okay, the conversations just basically went back and forth, about, how he was, wanting me to see the bigger picture, about all this fuckery that's going on in this world. And I basically told him, I see all the fuckery that's going on in this world. But again, I can only focus on, what I see that's going on in our community, the black community, not the people of color, because people of color, lumps in black, brown, Native, American. They want to even call Chinese folks people of color.
Right.
Man, I don't want to go. I don't want to go in there.
Color something.
Yeah, but stop it, man. Stop it. And get up on the microphone too whenever you talk. But I digress.
I was
yeah, stop it, man.
Q-tip.
Shut up. But at any rate, my whole thing is that I can only speak on what I see through my eyes and through my experiences, which leads us to this. Okay. I'm going to read you just the last part of this. He says, all I'm saying, I quote, if the white man gets a little more for the black man to get a lot more than we have been getting,
right?
Fuck it. Pay me, son. All I'm saying is you can't stay bitter about the past.
Who said that?
You know who said it. You know who said it. We gonna get him on here one day, man. But when I've spent, and that was actually about a month ago that I received that text, and I've literally spent the last month or so trying to process that one simple statement, okay? Because my biggest fear is that you have a lot of black folks, and yes, this is tying in to the music and to how these young folks act and how they move. You got a lot of black folks around here that honestly think, I don't care about the bullshit that happened in the past. I don't care about the fact that my great-great-grandparents and my great-grandparents and my grandparents were possibly slaves, okay? They don't care about the fact that, the Christian religion that they, hold steadfast to, like they're holding on to a tree in the middle of an F5 hurricane, was taught to them under the pretense of controlling you as a slave master would control a slave. They don't care about that. They openly say, as long as I'm getting more than what I have been getting, I'm fine with that. And that fucks with me, because knowing what I know about my own family history, and, doing the, reading and research that every person should be doing, I am not okay with that.
Right.
Because what that tells me, at least in his mind, and this is my guy, okay? He's solid, okay? But it tells me in his mind, he's willing to let a lot of important and necessary history be completely erased and just swept off to the side for money. Which brings me to this younger generation of artists that are just saying, look, it's just all about the money to me. I'm gonna sit up here. I'm gonna spit whatever I spit. I'm gonna talk about what I talk about. Yeah, this is real. This is the hood. This is the street. Nigga, let me tell you something. And I'm speaking from the heart, okay? This is your man Beretta telling you this, okay? Them streets don't give a fuck about you. They do not give a fuck about you. They will eat you up, shit you out, take a big ass piece of toilet paper, wipe you off their ass, and stick you in the fucking ground.
Correct. Real.
The hood don't give a fuck about you. But yet, you want to get up on the mic and say, yeah, this is, I represent the hood. Nigga, the hood don't give a fuck about you.
Well,
damn it, then got my damn blood pressure up and shit.
That's beautiful.
But I mean, that's really the whole point, man. Is that I'm just I just want to at least get it out to where maybe some of them young cats out there, maybe they'll run across this podcast, which I highly suggest that you do run across this podcast. Just to let you know, you got to think and move in a different way, because you're not gonna last in this industry. Okay, there's a track that I live by E40. Okay, the hook of the song goes simply this: to whom it may concern, you out there with all that fetty to burn. Oh man, damn it! Now I'm getting a fucking mental block. No, I mean I know exactly what it is. What is it? To whom it may concern, for all you rappers with all this fetty to burn, the industry is finicky. Let me make this clear: they'll have a new nigga next year.
Yeah.
So you got to learn and move in different ways. Just my piece of it, man. Just my piece of it. So at any rate, man, what else is going on, man?
Yeah, you said some shit.
Man, listen, that's been eating at me for the longest. I mean, maybe that's probably why it's taken me, 2 weeks to, get it out the proper way that I want to get it out. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well,
man.
I'll tell you this is that's a good I agree where you came off. I just some things you gotta let time work its way out. But and then, there's an exception to every rule. If the druggy generation is the rule for this, if that druggy lifestyle and this dumbass violence is the rule for this generation.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about one-sided rap. I don't have an issue with the rap game. I have an issue with the limited. It's such a limited window of perspective. That's all I ever had an issue. Like you hear, the thing we say all the time. We might have said this maybe I said this last time we talked. I had my Two Live crew. I had my Young MC. I had my Tone Loc. I had my Ice-T. I had King T. I had Diamond D. I had the Hieroglyphics. I had De La Soul. I had Outkast. I had Ghetto Boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got Devin the Dude. I had all these cats. You got your Pac. You got your Biggie. I don't want to stand one-sided. I just think it's... And I think that attitude where is all I want to fucking listen to attitude. I mean, you know what? That's a person's right.
Yeah.
But to limit yourself creatively is to take away opportunities, ideas. You gotta want to expand your mind. I'm not saying like you can't strictly listen to one artist and not be a fucking genius. I'm not saying that. But, man, just imagine how much more dimension a person add on themselves to give something else a shot. You know, a shot. You might like it, you might not. But there are elements. You don't deny something because it just ain't got the elements of the bullshit you usually listen to.
Right.
So I'm saying, you know, I'm not, it ain't like I've taken on new genres of music, but there's certain shit I started slowly becoming a fan of more than things like, I didn't think I liked bluegrass, but I kind of like certain bluegrass. I'm trying to get into that shit. You know, I've always liked older country, not younger country, because, you know, we grew up on hee-haw.
Yeah, we did.
And MTV really did a lot for expanding my musical palette.
Yeah, it did. And,
You know,
and what's even funnier about that is the fact that, you know, Shar and I and, you know, my son, we were just talking about that too, because there was a picture that came up on a book talking about they showed the original cube cable channel controller. Yeah, right. And
I hated that shit.
man, listen, well, that motherfucker was a staple of my household, Jack. You know, I can just remember, I can see it vividly right now. My dad sitting over there on his corner of his, you know, on the corner of the couch, you know, with his chair that held his glass of bourbon and his Viceroys and his Cools, and then sitting right next to him, he had that big ass 64 channel box, right? That, you know, that's how you change channels with that cube box. But we were talking about, you know, because I mean, I can remember vividly September of 1979 when they first came and put the cable into our house, when cable first came into our neighborhood. Yeah. Right? And one of the channels that it stayed on while my dad wasn't watching Channel 5 was BET. And this is what I had to impress upon Mel, right? Yeah. Was the fact that was really, you know, that was when BET really was black entertainment television, when it was actually owned, ran, managed by black people. Okay? Here you go, kids. Google the name Robert Johnson. BET. Yeah. Once you read his background, you'll get what I'm saying when I say this. With all due respect, Mr. Johnson, I wish you hadn't have sold out to Viacom. But that's another story. To bring it all back to where we was talking about, back in those days when cable television was in its infancy and MTV, VH1 in its infancy, and BET, that was where you had, that was basically your whole entire video musical influence. Okay? You know, it wasn't so much, you know, you listen to WDAO in your neck of the woods, or WBLZ, WCIN, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, listen.
I was on WDAO. That was my shit.
Oh, man, listen. Boy, WDAO, man, I can remember you could just, you know, tune your radio to it, and you had to turn it just a certain way so it bounced off one house and then came into the window, and you can barely get a good signal. Okay? Right. Young folks, y'all on this MP3 and this digital streaming shit, y'all have no idea what the struggle was trying to get a signal at 10 o'clock at night to your favorite radio station. But I digress. Yeah. You didn't have that. You didn't have just what was on your radio dial, okay, when you had BET and you had MTV and VH1, okay, because, you know, that opened everybody's eyes to a whole new genre, okay. It opened you up to the, you know, rock and roll, the death metal, the acid metal, the grunge, the the actual pop music. You know, I mean, a lot of people look at Billy Idol, you know, like he was a punk rocker or whatnot. But at that time, he was what you would call, quote unquote, the pop in the popular, popular music genre. What we know as pop music. Yeah. So, as you were saying, sorry, I kind of took over a little bit.
Nah, shit. I'm with you. Honestly, I just like variety, you know, and I like variety. And for real, the issue ain't even so much with the groups. Now that when you think about it, it's the labels. They're, you know, the labels love to ride high all the goddamn time, so they don't really give a fuck about a trend. They just want to be on top of it. See what I'm saying?
Right.
As a result, a lot of good fucking music is sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, you know, every time I say shit like that, it makes it sound like I'm shitting on what's out. And so, to some degree, I am. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I'm going to tell you this. Because of music I've ignored over the years, I've deprived myself. And that's another reason I really am not trying to be quick to shit on what's out. Because there are elements of it, like you know, when you mentioned the Bad and Bougie, like, man, my dude was taking me to work one day and played a lot of that Migos album. That shit is rocking, nigga, like rocking. And
I can't dispute you on that. I mean,
but it ain't my style of rock. Meaning, like I said, like I think I don't know if I was telling you, but did I just mention this? Like I like 70s country, right? And
well, I mean, and 70s country, you can call that Southern rock if you want to.
Older country, not altogether, because I mean, you know, you talk about your Tammy Wynette's and shit like that. Mandel's sister.
Yeah, that
and
I got you.
Chris Christopherson had a brand of country. Willie Nelson had his brand of country. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Charlie Pride. And so like
and yes, kids, Charlie Pride was black.
So like I'm just saying, in the middle of that shit, the newer country comes along, and some of it's rocking, but a lot of it I can care less for.
Well, so, there's not much of country I can care for anyway, because that goes back to what I was saying. I can't, you know, I can't embrace that experience if that's something that, you know, I have no clue about.
Right.
You know?
Well,
so
right.
I mean,
but the point being, I don't like not so much to specify country, but my point being, these changes, because for real, a lot of these genres are suffering. Like pop music done narrowed down. I actually like the days of NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I like them days because the music had more variety. You know what I'm saying? It's just these industries, once they get hooked on, oh, this is the happening thing, they want to drive that shit to the fucking ground. You know what I'm saying? So they make room for a lot of these motherfuckers to make the same shit, because at the end of the day, they don't want to let this shit get out. The kids listen to it, and some of them want to do the same shit, so they sound the same fucking way and don't want to twist nothing, you know, like and it becomes irritating. Like, you know, it's like when a kid first learn a cuss word, like a baby, and want to say that shit over and over.
Yeah.
And that's these kids.
God damn it, Daddy.
Right.
Oh boy, listen, and you almost want to smack him in the mouth, but you can't.
Right.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, you got to pop him a little bit. No, don't say that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's it. That's the gist. I mean, this is your show, nigga. I'm just chilling.
I mean, yeah. When it all boils down to it, and I know I say that a lot, but really, when it does boil down to it, I guess, you know, it's just we know it's a generational thing, but once again, these cats let them do what they do, let them explore all of their creativity.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, they need to kind of take a step back. And and when I say step back, I'm not saying, you know, do something drastic. I'm just saying take a step back, look, see how you moving, see how you maneuvering. Don't be so quick to dismiss what a guy or a gal might give you as far as a piece of advice or a piece of wisdom. Okay. You know, don't just be so quick to dismiss it because you think, oh, they just an old head. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. You know, just kind of take a step back and at bare minimum, just think about it, because that piece of advice, you know, that person gives you at that time may help you down the road. I mean, it is just like Jay said, okay, when he was talking about, you know, that apartment building Dumbo. Okay, you know, turned out the apartment building was worth 10 times more than, you know, the price he could have bought it for. And he feel dumb for that. Okay? It might get to a point where, you know, 3-4 years down the road, because I mean, you know, as much as I hate to say it, I don't give a lot of these new artists now, I don't give them but 2 or 3 years, because, you know, that this may actually be a case where the popularity with them, you okay, so you know how, what's the best way to describe this? Okay, you know, say like you got a campfire, you start the fire, you know, you start with a little bit of wood. You start the little fire, then you add more wood to it, 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 okay? You know, the drier the wood, the more fire you're going to catch, and the more sustained that fire is going to be, okay? That's what you have when you got people like Tribe Called Quest, when they brought out their latest album. When was it? Earlier this year?
Late last year.
Okay, late last year. Okay, so, you know, if you know about Tribe Called Quest, you know, they had a nice, consistent run where they've been putting out good, quality music. You know, yeah, they had some, you know, internal strife, but they had a consistent run, okay? That's, you know, putting, you know, good dry branches, good dry leaves, okay, on that fire, sustaining that fire, okay? Over time, you'll have a fire that will burn pretty much all night, keep you warm, okay? That's consistency. That's longevity, okay? That's what gets you Lifetime Achievement Awards, okay? Same with NWA, Ice Cube, Dre, okay? These younger cats nowadays, okay, and shit. I mean, there's a few names you could rattle off. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. At least some of the younger ones, y'all know the ones I'm talking about, where their popularity, you know, burns so hot, okay, and so quick that they don't have enough time to let that wood dry out, season, so they can put it on there, so they can keep that heat going over a longer period of time. Therefore, their fire burns real hot, and it burns real fast, but it burns out quick.
I mean, I see. I can't. I don't know. I can't. I'm not going to agree with you definitively nor disagree. But I will say this. It doesn't. I mean, the whole matter is not really confusing. I think at this point, whatever people are, let them be that. We just want to. I think at the end of the day, we just want people. Okay, nah, this is what I really meant to say. Fuck the dumb shit.
Speak on it.
You know, one of the biggest reasons a lot of younger rappers got issue with Jigga, because he's still a topic.
He's still relevant.
He's still a topic to where he could come out whatever he want and get at least a clean $1 million of sales, where these motherfuckers is struggling because their name is only solid in these little small pockets. Enough to make money. Radio play giving them hundreds of thousands. You know what I'm saying? Millions. But you got to think they're not going to get nowhere close to where Jigga was. But the thing is, and in a minute, they all know they got to stay hitting the scene retarded. Because for real, like you just said when you quoted the E40 shit, them motherfuckers stay off the scene 6 months, it'll be like they've been gone for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason they got an issue with that. Joe Budden is fixed. He got a crowd that's so solid. Say what you want, but that motherfucker, think they had this nigga hosting ESPN. Like, come on, man.
You're right. You're right. But that's exactly the point that I'm making, though.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you have to be moving in a positive direction. You got to be in that good positive space, not only with the things you do, the way you carry yourself, but also the music you make. Okay, it's not me saying that the music that they're making is trash, although some of it is plain and simple glad bag trash, but they have to know, if they want to have that real longevity, okay, they want to be, 10 years down the road talking to Nori and EFN on his podcast about, being considered a legend because you have that, longevity, you had that, that groundbreaking or what's the word that I want to use? That transcendent, album or something. You gotta, at least in my mind and in my heart, you just gotta think in a different way. And that's my biggest problem that I see with a lot of these young cats. Okay, because they will literally be 2 albums and a flash in the pan later, and of course you don't have to worry about the record executive snatching your shelf spot. Now they just take you off the damn net.
Yeah.
But at any rate, that's what's on my mind. I had to get that off of my head, man, because that
went there.
Yeah, that literally.
Supposed to be talking about crochet.
Man, crochet my ass, boy. And
porno sunglasses.
Man, boy, they got a lot of that shit out there. These cats out there, they like, ooh, yeah, I got my shades on. These shades cost $50,000. Nigga, if you sit on them shits, boy, they gonna break, and they was only worth $250.
Oh my god!
But at any rate, man, like I say, listen, I appreciate y'all checking out my podcast. I appreciate the support that you're giving me. Get on SoundCloud if SoundCloud's still gonna be there. Hell, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole story with that. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that story, but get on SoundCloud, get on iTunes, get on Spreaker, check out the podcast.
Support local nigger businesses.
Yeah, that too. Just give me a comment, shout it out, like it, subscribe to it. And like I said, you can check me out on you can check me out on not SoundCloud, shit. You can check me out on Instagram and Twitter. Beretta Beats, you know how it is. Kreid, give them your social media details and we getting the fuck out of here.
At KREID71. That's Twitter. Same thing for the gram.
Yeah, you like it. I love it. 1.